What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here on the Odd Shopper channel, coming with another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks in the NBA streets. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell goes a long way for me on this video, goes a long way for you. That way you become apprised whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. I've been up for infinity hours, ready to rock here, but we just broke down 15 MLB games. We got 14. Hopefully you enjoyed your Monday off. Some people asking me, where's the NBA show? Well, there's no NBA on Monday, but there is on Tuesday. Lots of it. I'm going to give you the ins and outs. I think there's some really, really good lines you want to get ahead of. Like right now, we have a lot of the props that are out, which it's always kind of my calling card, because that's what you really want me here for. That's what you need me here for. That's what you do. That's what Maryland does. Crab cakes and football. But I'm from South Dakota, so that doesn't really make sense. BetMGM makes sense. Sign up for them down at the link below, as well as, we'll talk through Odd Chopper and all those goodness. $1 for Odd Chopper right now for a week. Find out how. Just keep watching or just go down to the link and use promo code MASTERS. Yeah, that'd be great too. But we'll talk about it a little bit later. Producer Jacob, hi, hello. We got a Natty to go watch the end of, that's for sure. So let's get ourselves going. Let's get to the picks. I mean, this is just laughable, friends. If you don't know, it's the last week of the regular season. We have what, Sunday? Sunday is when everybody plays again. And then we have like a weird, I think Saturday's off, or we have so much weird implication stuff. But we're going to talk through what every team is playing for as we go throughout this entire frickin' program. You heard me. Yeah, there's teams that are playing for things like the 76ers. There's teams that aren't, like the Detroit Pistons. But let me tell you, I have no clue what Philadelphia's incentive is between getting the 7 or 8 seed. They're trying to get to the 6 seed, which they have a 15.4% chance of getting. 5.4% chance at the 5 seed. They basically have 0 chance at the 4 or better. So they're either trying to play themselves out of the play-in tournament, and that is really what it comes down to, trying to analyze what other teams are going to do based on what is going on with their injuries. Is the risk worth the reward for pushing them? And then how we go about projecting out who could play or who could not play. But Cade Cunningham, massive Q tag on the Detroit side of things. He's been out for a couple, and then left knee injury management. We've seen him in, we've seen him out, whatever. We saw a 50-point burger from frickin' Malachi Flynn as a result. Lowest points per game average to ever put up a 50 burger in the NBA in its history. That seems cool. But Kyle Lowry, Tyrese Maxey, Tobias Harris, D'Anthony Melton, and yes, Joel Embiid, all 5 with Q tags entering tomorrow. Like, laughable stuff, because I have no clue how you're supposed to analyze who's going to do what or where. It is the very first game out of the gate, so if there's something I want to do, I'll let you know, but I have no clue how to analyze it up until that point. I will say Philly minus 15, because if Cade's out, even if everybody were out on the 76er side, still feel like that's the prudent play, but actually that's not true, because I just want Joel Embiid in. Can we just get Joel Embiid ramped up for the playoffs? That'd be nifty. Let's get to the next one. Have a play from this one. This was almost a lock. Dallas, 11-point favorites going up against Charlotte. Kind of a homecoming of sorts for Mr. PJ Washington. We'll get to him in a second, because this is definitely the spot I want to be a little invested in. If you've been watching ball, if you know ball, and I've been watching a lot of Dallas basketball because it's been on national TV, and there's a lot of bets that I just, for whatever reason, have had on them here of late. But on the Charlotte side of things, you got to pay attention to what happens with these rotations as we wound down to the end of the year. I still think we get like these 36 minutes, 38 minutes for Brandon Miller, for Miles Bridges, and yes, for Grant Williams in his revenge spot taking on his former team. But on the Dallas side of things, they have Derek Lively who's still out here, and that's created an opportunity for PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford to walk into like an extra minute here or there. But PJ Washington was already playing around 36 minutes a night. And the only reason that he wouldn't play 36 minutes here is that they blow Charlotte out of the water. But PJ Washington, his 3-point shooting percentage, if you watch it back with Charlotte back in the day, it was horrendous. Sub 30%, wasn't making anything. One of the worst true shootings out of any routine starter. And actually, he wasn't even a routine starter, but I listed him as such on my sheet just for the ease of being able to talk about it, because now he is a routine starter, playing massive minutes, has great defensive versatility for this Dallas team, which, again, they're not looking to generate a ton of offense with Luka and Kyrie, because Luka and Kyrie can do that just fine themselves. What they need are corner shooters who can just make shots. And up to a 32.4% 3-point percentage, that doesn't sound good, because it's, well, not good. It's like 25th, 26th percentile in basketball, but it's better than the sub 30% we were looking at. And the true shooting has somehow found 54%. It was sub 50% during his Charlotte tenure there as a starter. I don't know what to tell you other than This is too low of a number for a guy who still has an 18.6% usage over every circumstance. And if you watch these Dallas games, I've brought this up so many times on this program, he just shoots a ton of corner threes. I've been looking at combining PJ Washington with his 1.5 threes, which is now going to turn into 2.5 sooner rather than later. It's pretty heavily juiced on the 1.5s. I think you probably stay away from that in this spot, but I think over 12.5 points, minus 108 on FanDuel is just a bad opening number. I don't know how to do the lamb thing. I'm sorry. Indy taking on Toronto, friends, and homecoming for Pascal Siakam going up against his former team. Yay, it's going to be fun to watch. They're getting healthier here. Obviously, Benedict Mathurin out for the season, but every other core player healthy, there for Indy, and Tyrese Halliburton starting to look more Tyrese Halliburton-esque in recent games. Toronto, though, we've got Grady Dick, who's questionable, but let me tell you, Emmanuel quickly out. That's the one that matters. It's a back-to-back here for Toronto, and as such, I expect Javon Freeman Liberty to start here in his place. Gary Trent back in from that hamstring injury. They'll have Agbaji, RJ Barrett, Kelly Olynyk, and then Grady Dick, who would be playing the most minutes there off the bench for them there. So pay close attention to the starting unit. See if you can take advantage of some of those things. But this opened at 8.5. It's now up to 10. Like within the last hour and a half of looking at our sheets and updating everything. And wish I had taken advantage of 8.5, but you can't, and I can't anymore. So that sucks. Maybe it comes back down for whatever reason, but I think the under of 240 might be a play for me. Again, I would like to see a couple of these pieces that would fall by the wayside, but Emmanuel quickly out. Toronto generating offense is a big question mark to me. I know Gary Trent back, but like Freeman Liberty at the point, like I just don't trust Toronto to keep the pace with this one. Again, wish I had taken 8.5. Wish I had the under with it. Felt like that would have a little bit of a... Indy's going to put up a boatload of points because they play at a top 3 pace and have all season long. Yay! But under 240, Toronto side, very worried about them. God, I want to fire this one up, but I have enough points props on this card. Trust me, we are going to get to some more, and I do have a lock coming up a little later in the program for you. But Miami, 4-point favorites, taking on Hot Atlanta, which Jalen Johnson, kind of an interesting one. Thought my guy DK DFS over on Twitters and does some great work here at Stochastic as well for the DFS streets. He had a really good call out to Jalen Johnson, 4.5 assists. He's had nearly 10.5 potential assists here over his last 5. He had been dinged up and obviously had some reduced minutes in one of those. And well, it was plus 105 there over on ESPN. So could have fired that one up. It's now since moved, so that's cool. But thought that would have been a decent one to get in on. But lots of points props that dropped early here. And this is one that's kind of stayed the same, and it makes me a little bit worried. And this is where I think I got to go with this. The playoff probabilities. Atlanta is basically set to be the 10 seed. 87.8% chance of being the 10 seed, 12.2% at the 9 seed. Now, Chicago is playing at the same time, and if Chicago wins, they basically secure that 9 seed, and Chicago and Atlanta will have nothing to play for until they meet each other in the play-in tournament, hosted by Chicago more than likely. So I don't know if we see full blast minutes from every Atlanta starter here in this spot up against Miami. Now, Miami has things to play for. They're the 8th seed right now. They would be going to 49% chance of getting the 8th seed, 36.8% of the 7th seed, but they have nearly an 11% chance of finishing somewhere 6 or better. So 8.7% at the 6th seed and looking in. Again, these are all just combined probabilities. I'm looking at multiple sites. I'm aggregating them, so I'm putting them together to give you the overall summary of what I believe. Like the truth lies somewhere in the middle. It's kind of like a market-based approach when we're utilizing OddsSharper, which we'll talk about here in a second. But Miami has things to play for. They do have a questionable Terry Rozier here on the injury report, and everybody else, yes, everybody else is in here. Josh Richardson out for the season, so that doesn't count though. But Atlanta, I just don't trust seeing 36, 37, 38s for a DeJounte Murray here. If this game gets wonky at any point, they'll go to like a Kobe Buffkin to eat minutes. They'll go to Garrison Matthews, who's seen more run, partially because they got completely manhandled against Denver. But there are ways that I don't think these minutes are going to be as easy to tell coming down to the end of the season for Atlanta. Now, if they're going to be normalized, this is a spot where it would exist because they still technically have that 9 seed to play for. But considering you got a Chicago game, they are dogs to the Knicks. So I think Atlanta maybe plays this one just completely straight up. It leans that way, but the uncertainty of what the minutes are for DeJounte Murray, I would want to know I'm getting 36, 38 to put him at 21.5 points. And as such, I'm just going to call it a lean over 21.5, just on the outside looking in on the card. But I got to say, even against Miami, which we know plays at the slowest pace in the entire NBA, I can't find myself, well, second slowest, New York Knicks, but I can't find myself to find the gumption to do it. But I do have the gumption to look at OddsShopper tomorrow morning, fire up some bets. How about you do the same? Yeah, for $1? $1, friends. First week of OS Premium using code MASTERS. Yeah, you heard me. This is just all put together here. Birds of a feather now. $1 down at the link below. It is Masters Week. I'm going to be firing up bets in that premium Discord. I'm going to be talking about golf over on the Stokastic YouTube channel. I'm going to be doing a lot of great stuff over on Playback for too. You can check that out. Yeah, playback.tv. Check out Stokastic over there. I'm going to be breaking down some PGA goodness. It is Masters Week. You want to be signing up. $1, friends. $1 gets you everything we have there behind the paywall. That is the Fantasy Optimizer as well. So if you're in a non-legal state, great opportunity to check it out. Code MASTERS. Back to the picks we go. To your premier game of the night, the Boston Celtics, only 1-point favorites. 1-point favorites taking on Milwaukee. But I got to say, this is the closest I've come to just flat out saying I don't agree with a line that is still a lean because I'm a coward. And this is what I'm getting at. Boston up 15 against Sacramento the other night. I'm watching this basketball game, and I had a small play on Domantas Sabonis goodness, so it is what it is. I was just tailing some other people on that one. But they closed the Boston Celtics with absolute nobodies. O'Shea Brissett was in there. Luke Cornett was in there. They closed with all of their bench guys in a game that they were up double digits that normally you would see them play it out till the end. They're still so good that they won that game by 2, but it definitely ruined a cover for a lot of people. And you probably remember that if you had bet Boston in that spot where they were sizably up on De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis and company, and they clawed back in against that entire second unit. But that second unit's still pretty freaking good, and that's a little bit of what worries me here. Plus, we just had the Milwaukee Bucks, previous to the last game, lose 3 consecutive games outright as double-digit favorites. That is absurd to see. And that's really what's keeping me away from Milwaukee. Milwaukee, even when you think you got a leg up, you don't necessarily here. But you have absolutely no question that Milwaukee is trying to win this basketball game. 44.7% chance to get the 2 seed. 17.7 for the third, 18.6 for the fourth. Again, everything to play for here till the end of the season. If they win outright, if they win the rest of the way, they win out, they will have that 2 seed. So they are the favorites currently. Orlando's actually second favorites, which is surprising because they're further down in the standings, but a little bit easier strength of schedule for them coming down to the end of the season. I don't know if I can do it, friends. I just can't do it here. I don't have the power. Oh, yeah, Boston, 100% chance to be the 1 seed they have forever. Kristaps Porzingis questionable. Jason Tatum. Again, this is kind of an audition for both these teams to see where are we stacking up. And Milwaukee, they have not looked good of late, but I'm still going to lean towards the money line side of those things. I don't know what to make of these minutes. Might be shorting some Boston Celtics going forward until the end of the regular season because they're going to just screw around in some of these spots. They're just too good that they still are going to win some of those spots. I'm going to call this one lean like because pretty much all these playoff probabilities we've talked about, pretty much everything that I've calculated out for you, has me a little bit on the side of I should be betting the Knicks. They are technically alike. I have not bet them yet, though, because I think we could be getting something better than 3.5 potentially here. Now, New York, going to be one of the more publicly backed teams. Plus, I like this iteration of them getting OG Anunoby back into the fray. Not the band, the team. That's useful for them. Julius Randle, the will he or won't he, it's over with. He is out for the season. But every other player on the roster, healthy. OG Anunoby going to step into 36 minutes a night immediately. Miles McBride now reduced from 48 in most of those spots to 19, 20 minutes. Mitchell Robinson back with this team. Bojan Bogdanovic, who I think they should be playing more, but that's a conversation for a different day. Very interesting stuff across the board. My thing is that Ayo Dosunmu and Alex Caruso are questionable, and I feel like that's kind of like the will they or won't they. And I'm going to wait for their statuses before I actually pull the trigger on this, because I think if they're both in, there might be some money coming in on the Chicago side that gets me this number at 3 or 2.5 on the Knicks side. And I think they are the rightful favorites, getting healthier. Dante DiVincenzo, Jalen Brunson offensively creating a lot of opportunities, and Josh Hart continues to just show out be the guy that I thought was promised in Josh Hart, where I said I thought he's going to be one of the best rebounding threes that the league had ever seen coming out of college. And sure enough, had started to do it before falling by the wayside and signing for big money with Portland and would have wasted away forever in Margaritaville. Glad he did. But the Knicks, we're going to call it a lean like. Again, pay attention to the news. I have so much to do here on Masters Week and MLB and NBA and everything else. I'm going to be paying attention, though. I have a tab picked up for this one and an alert set to allow me to know that if this news has not broken by 6 p.m. Eastern time, that I have that tab open again, and I'm ready to bet it as soon as Caruso and who I expect to play, Caruso and Dosunmu, who I expect to play, are in that lineup, and hopefully that line can come down ever so slightly. This is another one of those points props that I thought was going to be a lock. PJ Washington, we had that like. Fred VanVleet, this is a like. This is going to be a like. And then we've got a lock coming up. So all good things come in threes, that's for sure. But Orlando, best defensive team here in the last month. Second best now in adjusted defensive rating for pretty much the entire season. Actually, the entire season, because that's why they're second in adjusted net rating. And defensively, taking on Houston. But Houston, friends, I think the reason that I downgraded this from the lock that it is supposed to be into the light category is I still think with Udoka, they're trying to play out with these core guys the rest of the season. They went on a crazy win streak. It was fun to watch, and yet they fell short. They are 100% locked in, cannot move from the 11 seed. And unfortunately, the 11 seed gets you squad diddly douche. Nothing. Not playing basketball come postseason time, but they can play with these core units. They can toy around here, and as long as Fred VanVleet's playing basketball, I think they play it relatively straight up, as Teddy KGB would say. Some of you got that reference. Some of you think I'm crazy. But Amin Thompson gets ejected. He was a bad boy. He'll be coming back into the fray here. Cam Whitmore, would be fun to watch him get unleashed to be able to play 30 minutes, and maybe some of these other minutes get reduced. But playing 36, 38 minutes a night still, Fred VanVleet, Jalen Green, both of them, the most minutes on this basketball team, as they should be. I think Fred VanVleet at 14.5 is a little bit disingenuous because if there's one leak in this defense, it is at the guard position. Jalen Suggs, he's out there to knock down threes, to kind of instigate offense. Franz Wagner, he's going to avoid a lot of those kind of responsibilities. Going to be getting some better defensive opportunities at that spot because, again, Jalen Suggs, he's been awesome defensively this season, plus 2.8, but a lot of that is just like the rising tide single ship, and Markelle Fultz will be out there to some extent, and he'll probably avoid some of that. Gary Harris has been pretty flat defensively. Again, Jalen Suggs is good defensively. I don't mean to besmirch the good name of, but there are opportunities for Orlando to basically just say, hey, Markelle Fultz, you'll be on Fred VanVleet, lower usage, and Jalen Green, you go to Jalen Suggs. There's going to be a lot of these matchup things that I don't want to go crazy about. All I know is how is Fred VanVleet at 14.5 points in this spot? 213 total. They're only 2-point favorites up against Houston, so implied total right around 104. Who else is going to be shooting these damn shots? Nobody. It's Jalen Green. It's Fred VanVleet. Jabari Smith ain't that guy, pal. You're not that guy. Or maybe you will be. We'll find out. Pretty quick one here. San Antonio taking on Memphis. Memphis, you have no idea on a day-to-day basis what their plan is. I only have 8 active guys in the rotation right now. Scottie Pippen Jr., Jordan Goodwin, Pereira character, G.G. Jackson, Trey Jameson, Xavier Simpson. Sorry, I almost said Thompson. That's not a person. Timmy Allen is a made-up basketball player. And then Brandon Clark, who we like. Yay! But he's only going to play 24 minutes because why would they play him anymore? He's a meaningful piece who was out for like the entire season. Brought him back here, slowly acclimate him, get him some confidence, feel good going into next year where hopefully you're able to hit the ground running because everybody should be back. The Marcus Smarts, of course, the John Morants. Jaren Jackson Jr., though, Desmond Bane not going to be playing basketball in this one. And friends, that creates, neither Santi Aldama. I just have no idea how to look at it. All I know is Malachi Branham playing like 33, 34 minutes going forward here. They have Keldon Johnson out, Chetty Osman out, Dominic Barlow out, Sohan and Vassell out for the season. There's going to be minutes available here for anybody who's healthy. They have a Raekwon Gray that got called up. I don't know who that is. City Sisosco? This last week of the season is trying to kill me, right? He's going to play minutes too. He's going to play like 8 minutes, 10 minutes. City? Should at least Sisoko. Kisoko? Kisoko? Don't bet this game for the love of God. Actually, might bet Malachi Branham over 2.5 assists. Huh? San Antonio's playing absolute nobodies, but they have Victor Wembanyama. I think that might be good enough. My Minnesota Timberwolves friends. Thank God my Minnesota Timberwolves can just find ways to just win basketball games when I don't expect it. And now they have the easier strength of schedule coming down to the end of the season. They take on the Washington Wizards, the Denver Nuggets. It's them. It's a two-team race basically at this point in time for that 1 or 2 seed. Again, we only have a 10% chance of falling to 3. So more than likely, I'm going to be going back to Minnesota to go watch some playoff basketball. I can't wait. We have to drive to Iowa a couple of times to make some bets and do the whole thing. But it is what it is, friends. Minnesota, friends, 56.5% chance to get the 1 seed. Denver at 32.4%. They're going to be playing straight up. This is actually going to have to be like a Teddy KGB sponsored thing that we do towards the end of the year. I'll work on it. I'll see what I can come up with. If somebody has a great idea, let me know in the comment section below. But I kind of like it. They're going to play it straight up, Minnesota. And that's good because Washington sure is not. Although they did play it straight up there in Toronto, came back from way down early in that one. Jordan Poole finally starting to play basketball when it doesn't matter and everything's over and nothing matters anymore. And then Denny Avdia, pretty enjoyable to watch here lately as well, wouldn't you say? Hey? Hey, Chicago, what do you say? Cubs Chicago. Different sport. Sorry, they're blending together to some extent. You forgive me? Yeah, I don't forgive myself either. Anywho, Denny Avdia going to be playing basketball. Jordan Poole going to be playing basketball. Does Kyle Kuzma? Tristan Vukcevic, who actually looked okay the other night. Rashawn Holmes, Johnny Davis, Anthony Gill. All 5 of them listed as questionable. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Yeah. Got a lock for you. Are you ready? Social tape, count down, producer Jacob. With Washington, 16.5 point dogs here at this point in time. I think Corey Kispert is going to play a boatload of minutes here in this spot. And Jordan Poole, Denny Avdia, ate up a lot of the usage last time out. I have no problem with that whatsoever. But I think this is a spot where Corey Kispert, who's out there to knock down shots and does so in a very efficient manner, just a 19.2% usage. But if you get Kuzma out, this is a slam dunk. No, don't even think twice about it. But even with Kuzma in, I'm projecting this number as way too low considering 38.1% from 3, very good. 60.2% effective field goal percentage, 86th percentile in the entire NBA. Corey Kispert going to play 34 minutes in any kind of competitive spot. And unlike a Poole, well, he's been closing in some of these spots too, but unlike a Denny Avdia or a Kyle Kuzma, Kispert might see some cleanup duty here. And I think this is just a spot where he might avoid some of that McDaniels responsibility, might avoid some of the ridiculousness here from Minnesota. So, Corey Kispert, I don't know how they arrived at this number, this opening number, over on FanDuel of 12.5, but it is an absolute lock. It's my favorite play of the entire day. Now, when I say absolute lock, what does that mean? Well, it means 1.5 units that I'm looking at playing here on this one. Well, I fired it up for 1, might double dip a little bit later with some parlays of some type of format. Again, I am in love with Corey Kispert here in this spot. It is a phenomenal opportunity for a guy who I have closer to 16 and change. And if Kuzma's out, it's going to look even better. 5 games to go. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell as we welcome back SGA. Yay, woo! Shai Gilgeous-Alexander returning here off the injury report. I'm excited. Are you excited? I'm excited. You're kind of excited. I'm also excited because they have no chance really to get that 1 seed or 2 seed anymore. 10% chance to do such. They still have things to play for. Very much still things to play for them. Denver, toe-to-toe here for the 2 seed. Again, Minnesota should be able to handle business coming down to the end of the year. We're going to be paying close attention, though. I'm for sure because I'm a fan. It is what it is. But Oklahoma City money line, I'm just going to call it a lean for the time being. Sacramento, we know that they have things to play for as well. 40.8% chance to get the 8 seed. 27.7% chance to get the 7 seed. At least you get 2 cracks at home if you get that 7 seed. Only a 10.4% chance to get the 6 seed. But with New Orleans, Phoenix, obviously Phoenix, we're going to be sweating bullets with them here, man. Oklahoma City, just a money line lean. Probably not going to be partaking here. Denver, Utah, another kind of sloppy, ridiculous spot here. Denver should be able to handle their business. Again, 13.5 point favorites. Minnesota, 16.5 point favorites. They're going toe-to-toe here. But Jamal Murray, off the injury report. Aaron Gordon, though, questionable. I think 31, 32 minutes. I don't even want to go project Jokic for any more, any less here. But I think this really comes to how much you're projecting out Jamal Murray to play. Because the Utah side, we know the usual characters. John Collins out, Jordan Clarkson out, Walker Kessler out, Chris Dunn out, Lauri Markkanen out for the season. They're just going to rest him the rest of the way there with that right shoulder injury, as they should. But Aaron Gordon questionable, it's not really going to matter. It's not going to change anything that I'm doing here. Jokic, is going to be a guy who's going to project 12.5, 13.5 rebounds, kind of where he's been nonstop. And then he's going to be somebody, the assist rate's going to take a little bit of a hit with Jamal Murray, but I think we're going to get some really, really nice plus money. If they could completely nuclear and blow them the hell out here on the road, I think there's a reason that it's Nikola Jokic who does it. And I think the triple-double number might be in play here. We haven't fired this one up in like a month plus. It's been a long time since I've played the Joker triple-double play. The numbers have just been completely jammed down, so it sucks. But come playoff time, friends, when you start getting those 40 minutes a night and the numbers don't react early, hopefully we can dive in night before, get ourselves some value. But I'm going to wait to see. I want to get better than 2-1. I doubt we're going to get it. Friends, BetMGM, if you haven't signed up yet, do so now. We're getting towards the end of the NBA season, but don't you worry. We've got the Masters. We've got the MLB in full gear from now until forever. We have an opportunity at multiple sports to make you tons of money at all of the sports books, including BetMGM. Plus, they're giving you up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet loses. Sign up for that at the link below. Super straightforward, super easy. It's only for 21 and over. If you have a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER. Back to the picks we go. Now, I've been talking nonstop for like 4 hours. 4 hours. Like, crazy amount of work here this evening. But you know what? Not complaining. I get to talk sports for a living. I get to gamble on sports for a living. Like, there is not a whole lot better than doing that. I don't think there's going to be any sympathy coming my direction, nor should there be. It's just one of those things where it's like sometimes you just want to say, I know better. I'm going to bet Golden State. I'm going to fire this one up. And yet, what? Again, this is my job, day-to-day basis. Golden State has been a cash cow for us this entire second half of the season. But against the Lakers, I don't know what to think about what is going on with Draymond Green when he plays his buddy LeBron James. And LeBron James, he was ill last time out, ends up missing Sunday. I'm still mad at Anthony Davis for what it's worth. Anthony Davis, questionable, got poked in the eye, but sounds like he's going to be good to go on Tuesday. I think we'll just kind of sit and wait on this one. Steph Curry, he got rested here. We know that Golden State, they want to win basketball games, but they're pretty locked in to like the 9 or 10 seasons, or sorry, the 9 or 10 seed season. That'd be wild. Oh yeah, look at that. They're probably going to be playing the Lakers too. 30.1% chance for them to get the 10 seed, 37.3% for the 9 seed. Very small chance to get outside of that. So are these two teams going to be doing things straight up? Are they going to just go at it and say, oh, we want to get the home court, or are they worried about the minutes for AD and LeBron, which I would be more worried about than anything. Not like they can't go up to Golden State and win one basketball game when they play those guys 48 minutes, but just saying, there's some game theory here. And I kind of want to stay away in spots like this as opposed to like embrace the variance because we've had a long enough NBA season. We don't need to go force a play here on Golden State +2 just because it's the prudent play. But I will say, Rui Hachimura, 20.5 PRA. This is one of those things where, like, you want to be on the other side of this one and just jam the over if you get LeBron out or, you know, even AD out. That would be incredible for either one of them. Or you want to absolutely be on the under of that in the event that they both play. So kind of between a rock and a hard place here. But I do think LeBron and AD play in this spot unless LeBron is just way sicker than we think. And the under of 20.5 PRA, definitely something that I would be interested in. Have it on your radar. Have this on your radar too. I'm just so tilted. The Clippers going to play Phoenix back-to-back, more than likely, without Kawhi Leonard in both of them. Now, his estimated date of return at a lot of spots that I trust, they're talking about him potentially being back for that Wednesday game. I'll see it I'll believe it when I see it is what I'm getting at. But Yusuf Nurkic, the only guy of any importance on the injury report. We have Daniel Tice questionable on the Clipper side. That doesn't matter to me at all. Mason Plumlee was going to be the backup here. He's going to be the backup. I think going forward, there was a minute where it was Tice here and there, but either way, Yusuf Nurkic questionable. That does matter because then they'll have to enact more duty out of Royce O'Neal, who gets some of those starts. Bol will play more minutes, but I mean, this is just one of those like PJ Tucker now playing like a quote unquote starting spot. Norman Powell off the bench, Russell Westbrook off the bench. Clippers have been playing a little bit better. Paul George just going scorched earth on the world after calling out James Harden, but back-to-back wins, nifty stuff. I would love a win here, friends, but you know what? I would take a cover of 3.5 if I end up firing this up. It is currently the best play. You should know by now, Phoenix, that 49.5. 48.5. It is a bigger sweat than it was before, but we got decent enough chance. They got to win 3 of 4 here. Clippers, Timberwolves to finish out. Whew. We're going to have a sweat on that 48.5 under. That is for sure. Might look at it hedging if it gets to be in a spot where Minnesota actually has something to play for in the final game. I think they might, though. They might have that 1 seed to play for. That would be epic on the finishing day. Oh, we've reached the end of our boarding walk, friends. The Pelicans, massive favorites, taking on Portland. And shout out DeAndre Ayton. He's been playing really good basketball. Again, him and Jordan Poole, they figured it out just when the stakes were at their lowest. Congratulations, you two. Way to go. We'll see, though. You got to feel encouraged if you're a Portland fan that you got something out of this. Like, DeAndre Ayton was like cast off as like a bust at this point in time, which I thought was a little bit egregious. It's not like he was hurt. Wasn't really fitting schematically what Phoenix wanted to do at any point in time. And, well, they didn't get along. It happens. It happens at works. It happens at places and things and whatever else. But anywho, I already fired the under 23.5 points here for DeAndre Ayton because, one, this is a Pelicans team that is built on defense. 210.5 total. And yeah, we don't have Simons. We don't have any of the usual characters out there, and it's been all Ayton whatsoever. But Scoot Henderson's going to have a game eventually coming down to the end of the year. And I just find it so weird that Portland would want to play Ayton for like 38 minutes a night going forward. So I got to bring the minutes down to like around 35. I can't think that this is going to be long for it. And not like the usage is crazy out of control. It's just that he's so efficient because everything's by the bucket. But under 23.5, friends, I think this is the prudent play. Blowout potential. Go Pellies. Get them out of there. Small play. Whew, and that does it for another edition of Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks in the NBA streets. Hit that like button down below. Let me know in the comment section below what some of your favorite plays are for tomorrow. That was a lot of basketball to break down. That was a lot of baseball to break down. I'm here working tirelessly, trying to do the best I can to give you guys updated information. Premium Discord, I will be in there. I've got to be firing up a bunch there tomorrow, but between the national championship, lots to get done here. So little time, friends. Promo code MASTER to take advantage of everything down there. Promo code MASTERS. Want to make sure that that was plural, just like the tournament. There you go. Great stuff, friends. Producer Jacob, thank you. You're a real one, friend. Until next time, I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the NBA streets on Tuesday.